Thank you for agreeing to do this interview. This interview is part of a project to highlight the experiences of women in STEM. So, whether you're a seasoned professional, college student, or just starting your STEM journey, you want to capture your voice, challenges, leadership, your growth to help make the STEM community for girls more connected, inclusive, and representative for everybody. So, to start off, what is your name? What are you studying? What year are you in? And what sparked your interest in your field?
Yeah, I'm Parnika. I'm a second year computer science major at UCLA, and I've been doing robotics since like the fourth grade. When I started with FLL, so like Lego robotics, I did FTC in middle school and then FRC in high school. And last summer, I was able to intern at Rev Robotics, which is a first manufacturer. And I think Legos probably sparked my interest in the field of robotics, but the community that I found really helped me find my passion for programming and computer science specifically.
Nice. Is that kind of what drew you to just your major or just computer science in general?
Yeah, I think robotics is really special in that you can actually see what you're building kind of come to life, and you can debug and do so many things in a more physical sense. So I think it really captivated my interest and made me realize the kind of different avenues that you can use computer science for.
That's very nice. So this can be like for robotics, because you said you've been doing robotics like a really, really long time. This can be for robotics, or this can just be kind of, in college now. But did you ever feel like you had to prove yourself more than others? And like, how did that make you feel, and what did you take away from that?
Yeah, I think especially in competitive robotics and engineering as a whole, it is a very male dominated field. So I have definitely felt the pressure to prove that I belong in this space, and that, like, you know, I have the expertise and knowledge to be a valuable contributor on the teams I've been on. I had the amazing experience of being on an all girls robotics team in high school and being part of that community, not only as a rookie student in the beginning and getting to learn so much from all these amazing mentors and older students, and then also stepping into the role of being that older student who can support and guide the students who came after me, really helped me understand the importance of inclusion and representation in the field to help others feel empowered and like find belonging. So I think I definitely have felt um, kind of a pressure to continuously prove myself, but I do think spaces are changing and it is becoming um, a more welcoming space overall.
That's a really nice answer. I did not know that you were part of a all-girls team in high school.
Yeah.
How was that? Were you on that team all 4 years or just a couple years?
Yeah, so I did it all 4 years of high school. I actually went to an all girls high school. So
Oh,
the
wow.
robotics team was definitely one of the factors in my decision to attend that high school. And I really enjoyed the experience. I think, especially at the time, I needed that very supportive, welcoming environment to kind of come out of my shell and try things that I might not have otherwise. And I think being part of a space like that is really special because you get to learn from and validate the experiences that maybe you and others have shared. So through being in leadership on the team, getting to guide younger students, and then also working on outreach in the community, I think having the space for that perspective was really valuable and brought something different in the engineering space.
Yeah, nice. I definitely feel you with that, like just the community part of it, because I go to an all-girls high school as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, can you share a time where you really struggled? This can be robotics related or not robotics related. It could be with like confidence, a tough class, or just feeling like you didn't fit in at all. And what helped you push through that tough thing?
Yeah. I think my interests growing up have kind of led to me being in male dominated spaces throughout my life. But I will say it doesn't really get that much easier when you're in a new space. So I did find that sense of imposter syndrome a lot in college when, like, in a tough class or when you feel kind of like you're the only women in a space, like in a club meeting, for example. But I found that having mentorship and finding these communities for support really helped me. So I joined the Society of Women Engineers at UCLA. And I found that having like that very supportive environment was a really big boost in my confidence in myself and really helped me feel that sense of belonging. So I do think it is very important to find or foster those spaces to help people push through.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. Having a good, space for you to thrive is really, really important. This kind of goes into our next question of, did you have someone in particular, or this could be someone that you know of, or just someone you look up to, that has kind of been part of your support system? This could be also mentors, friends, or just other women in STEM that have made a difference on how you see yourself.
Yeah, I think I've been lucky to have these kind of formal communities of women who've faced similar experiences and are going through the same challenges that I have. And I've made so many lifelong friends from doing robotics or some of the other activities that I was part of in high school and now in college. And I definitely do think it really helps to have that support system, have people to talk to, vent to, and to be able to learn from their experiences on how to navigate the world, and especially how to navigate these spaces that we really enjoy, where maybe we don't see as much representation for women or people who look like us.
Yeah, definitely. I think, obviously having a strong support system is really, really important.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Coming,
it's also, sorry,
no, no, no,
I
keep
was going to
going, keep
say, I
going.
think it's also really important to um, give like your support to that system as well. So whatever, whether it's like a formal mentorship program, I think especially as you become an upperclassman in high school or in college, or when you're in the workforce, I think it can be really powerful to give back to the community in that way as well. Especially if it's something that you found a lot of um, support and growth in. I think it is very valuable to continue to foster that environment.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that one. Have you just noticed any biases or subtle like stereotypes in your field? I know you talked about you were on an all-girls team high school wise, but now coming out of the high school space after being in that, all-girls environment all 4 years, how like do you see any biases or other stereotypes? And then like how do you respond when you encounter them?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is kind of implicitly going to be there for a while. Even if people are doing that unintentionally, I do think there are stereotypes or biases. And, some examples from while I was in high school are people like other robotics teams assuming that our coach was one of the students or the captain of the team, or like not really being willing to talk strategy with us or learn about our experiences because sometimes people are blinded by their perspectives and the stereotypes that have been kind of ingrained in society. So I think it's important to be able to educate people on how to move past the stereotypes. But I found if I find an environment where I feel belittled or ignored, it always helps to stand up for myself, speak out, and you can't really be silent and expect any change in the environment. So I found for the most part, people are very receptive. I think a lot of stereotypes and biases come from a place of ignorance or not ever having a reason to confront someone's implicit stereotypes. But when talking to people, I definitely think that it is possible to break that pattern and create a more inclusive culture.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think a lot of this like stereotypes and things are definitely preset, especially when we come to competition. Because in our league, there's one other all-girls team. They're also super amazing, but definitely a lot of,
Yeah.
stereotypes that are there
Yeah.
about both of our teams. If you
Yeah,
could
I'm
pick,
curious, how do you, sorry.
yeah, keep going, keep
um,
going.
I was just curious, how do you kind of respond to that in the robotics space?
So for us at least, this is our second year competing. All of our different members have had different levels of experience with FIRST and with robotics. But recently, this is actually not recently, this was last year during competition, we had a team that this was like this is kind of one of our final competitions. We're climbing up, we're trying to get as many points. And there was a team, their strategy was defense. They ended up like just jamming into our bot and slamming our bot like the entirety of the round. So we ended up they broke our wiring, they broke our protection, they broke a lot of things. So they full on just rammed us.
Oh
And
my God.
this is like a team with a really long history, like maybe 7 or 8 years they've been in FTC and we're a rookie team. And after that they were just belittling us like crazy and they were like, you guys cannot do this. This is why we blocked you. You should not be in this space.
Oh
And
my
then
God.
I think our best response to that is we made them eat their words. We beat them in that match. We still beat them in that match. We still beat them in the next round over and we were able to just we didn't have to say as much as to show that, you know what, we actually do belong in this space, even if we haven't been in here for a while. So
Yeah, no, I
that's
think it's great. Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry you had to go through that
oh,
experience, but I'm glad it worked out in the
yeah.
end. Um, but yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, it is, I think if it works, it is nice to have someone fully understand, the impact that their words could have on someone and kind of stand up for yourself in that way. But it is also nice to
Yeah.
just be able to show someone that no, you really do belong. And I
Yeah.
do think everyone has a space in engineering.
Yeah, I think at that time, especially right after that round had happened, we had all gone over to that team and been like, "Hey, what's up? But what's this for?" And they gave us like a really bad explanation, like, "Yeah, it's just this is how first rules. This is defense on our part." I'm like, "You know what? You know what? That's okay. We'll just prove ourselves later if we need to."
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah. So, going off from this, if you could change one thing about how women experience STEM in college, in both like, college, high school, professional world, what would that be?
I think one thing I would change is I would love to see a world in which these like inclusive, supportive environments are the norm and not just an exception. Um, I really value having these spaces, but I do think it would be nice for women or other underrepresented minorities in the STEM space to not have to rely on finding this one safe space where they can express themselves and thrive. So having more structural change and representation for these groups at every level, I think would really play a big role in undermining the stereotypes that are somewhat pervasive still, and working towards having equal participation, especially in engineering from girls across different age groups, I think would go a long way towards creating those environments as kind of the default and not an exception.
Yeah, I think it's super rare now to be like, yay, I finally found my community, but be able to like kind of feel that wherever you go.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what would you tell a younger girl who's curious about getting involved with STEM, but feels unsure if she belongs there?
I think I would try to underscore that you don't need to know everything to start. And just being curious and having an interest in it is enough to belong. It's not like you have to earn some belonging in a space, especially when you're working towards just building something, learning something new. I think STEM is a really great way to explore so many different fields and interests that someone could have. So honestly, just showing up and having that curiosity should be like the only prerequisite to belong in a space.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you on that. Just as long as people are willing to learn, it's
Yeah.
really, really great. Okay,
Yeah.
so
I do. It definitely is hard. And I know like that is, it's easier to say that than for someone to
yeah.
feel that in a space for sure. Um, I guess the other thing I would say is find that mentorship or support however you can. And of course, once you feel like you belong in that space, contributing and becoming someone else's reminder that they belong in that space.
Yeah. So we're on our final question. Looking ahead, how do you hope your experiences, both the challenges and your victories, will shape the kind of engineer, scientist, or leader you want to become?
I think it's a really good question. I think I want to be the kind of leader and engineer who builds not only technology, whether that's robotics or software or whatever I end up wanting to pursue, but I also want to build community and create that environment that really helped me and molded me into the person and engineer that I am today, to be able to give back to other groups that feel the same way that I have felt in the past and try to just do better for the next generation. So I hope to be able to shape spaces that are innovative because they're inclusive, working with other people's perspectives and really shaping the kind of environment that I really am so grateful for.
Yeah, it's an amazing answer. And that's all we have from us. Thank you again for agreeing to do this. We really
Yeah, of
appreciate it.
course.